you know, referees trying to cheat you. Brilliant start to the season points wise, and a lot of you thought you wouldn't start off well. Surely, you know, there's a lot of anger last night though from fans moaning about the performance, even though you won again and were the better team by a country mile. What did you make of the game last night?
Yeah, just to come back to that super chat, it's not sustainable, mate. Yeah, that one that he said about, he moans about, but he said he don't care if as long as you get the win. That one. Yeah, and this is the thing. It is not sustainable when you're trying to shoehorn one player into the team to the detriment of the playing style, and shoehorning other players into positions that are not natural for them. It's not sustainable, mate. It really ain't. And on another night, we don't get that penalty because Thomas Partey may have infringed the defender. On another night, yeah, we see it Tottenham Brentford. Yeah, the Eze penalty ends up being a penalty. Yeah, on another night. Yeah, Tomiyasu stays on the pitch. Like, people can sit and cry about referees all they like. I don't tend to moan about refs, but that ref was awful. Yeah, he was awful. And the thing that wound me up the most about that ref was Tomiyasu didn't really touch him. He literally just like that, and he was on the deck. 40 seconds later, Kai Havertz is ripping the same geezer's shirt off and didn't even book him. And it's like, how are you not booking him for that, but you're booking a second yellow for that? Yeah, and I always think it like VAR is a joke anyway. We all know that. Yeah, but I do think that you should be able to VAR a yellow card. Like, what's the purpose of it being there if you can't VAR basically wrong decisions? Oh yeah, I think you got that one wrong there, mate. Yeah, well, you can do it for every other scenario apart from a yellow card. Make that make sense.
And corners, which is weird. Like, how many goals come from corners and you can't check them quickly? I get you on that, but I want to go back to what you said about it being unsustainable.
Yeah.
I understand if you perform like this for 38 games, you're not winning the league because you won't be able to get the win all the time. But we know you're going to get... Why don't you think you're going to get any better than this? Because for me, the vast majority of last season, you were excellent. Yes, you haven't started the season in scintillating form, but why don't you believe you're going to get better when Jesus returns, when Zinchenko's back in, when players have settled? You know at some point Gabriel's going to come back into defense. Ben White will go back to right back.
Is he though?
Why would they not? Why would they not? Why are you not going to get better than this?
Why would you drop one of the best centre-back pairings? Yeah. And listen, everyone knows I say he's got the bozo gene, but I've also sat on here many, many times and said since Christmas, he's been our best defender. Why are you dropping him for the first 2 games of the season? To incorporate Ben White in at centre-back, who, by the way, in his first season at Arsenal was awful at centre-back. I don't care what anyone tells me. He weren't that bad. Yes, he was. Right? At right-back, he was one of the best right-backs in the league last season. He was up there with Trippier for sure. Yeah, and if we hadn't have fallen off a cliff at the end, I probably would have said he was the best right back.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. We'll go back to it. Could you give me some positive reasons as to why maybe Gabriel hasn't started the first 2 games of the season without trying to find a negative reason?
There is no positives.
Well, so you're telling me there's no possibility that maybe, just maybe, he's had a knock and his fitness ain't ready to start games yet?
Or maybe he's linked to Saudi Arabia and maybe we're doing a deal with Saudi. Maybe. So maybe the player has said, I want to go. So again, you can't blame Arteta for that. No. Hold on. Let's just stop because I don't want to go down this route of shouting in here. But at the end of the day, that is one of the best centre-back pairings in the league. I think we can all agree on that, yeah? Right? When they play together, they're quality. And if one's having a bad game, the other one's having a good game. It's very rare they both have a bad game at the same time. Very rare. And we've seen that all of last season, right? So why drop that? Why drop that pairing? The only thing I can think of that is dropping that pairing is to shoehorn Kai Havertz into the team, right? Which he's doing. And that means that we're going to then put Thomas Partey at right back, Ben White at centre back, Saliba at left centre back. It's mind-blowing because you're taking one player out of the team that's been part of one of the best centre-back pairings in the league. There's no other explanation for it other than you're trying to get Kai Havertz in the team, or maybe we're doing a deal to Saudi. Yeah.
So why can't the explanation be, when you say there's no other explanation, that isn't true, That isn't true. So I'll give you at least two, top of my head. Maybe Hassan's got others. Maybe he's had a knock and isn't fully match fit yet. Hang on. You didn't listen to what I just said. Not fit enough to start yet.
Stop right there. Please stop. Let me just say one thing. If you're fit enough to come off the bench, you're fit enough to start the game.
No, that's not true. Hang on. But do you want to know why I know? Do you want to know why I know that's not true? Because again, some of the greatest managers that we've ever witnessed have done that by putting players that are not quite ready to start yet, but he's on the bench. We've seen Fergie do it. We've seen Pep do it. So to say, my point to you is to say there's no other explanation than he's shoehorning Kai Havertz in is not true. You want that to be the reason so you can be angry. You're not looking. What you never do, Lee, when it comes to Arsenal, when it's weird, is you never look for what could be the actual reason. Maybe part of the reason is something you complained about last year. There was no plan B. Maybe he's looked at these two games and gone, I think even with some changes, I think we can beat these teams. So I want to make a few changes to try a few other little systems out on maneuvers because we think we're
supposed to be doing that in pre-season.
Hang on. Let me just finish. Pre-season's only half. They're not real games. You can try things in pre-season. Maybe he looks at it like, by the way, I've seen Pep and Fergie and Wenger and Klopp in their pomp do, where they make changes against teams that they know they should be beating. And Liverpool are a great example of this. Liverpool's best team under Klopp, we could all name the starting 11. We could all name the players that were in that team. But I remember reading the stat, it was just after they won their league title, that in the previous 60 matches, that team had only started about 11 games together, which means there was always rotation or different players coming in, and you've won your 2 games. I'm not saying you shouldn't be concerned with the performance levels and wanting them to get better. But what I find really intriguing is how the reasons for the poor performances is always going to these weird conspiracy theories and negativities. Because you don't know the reason, but you're saying it can only be shoehorn Kai Havertz.
If he's in the squad, he is fit enough to play. He came on and played. If he's in the squad, he's fit enough.
That isn't true.
Because he came on and played.
Rasmus Højlund is likely to be in the squad against Nottingham Forest at the weekend. He's likely to only be able to get up to 30 to 35 minutes as he's building his fitness up. But you want to bring him on in the game to slowly build that fitness up. Otherwise, his first game is going to be a full 90 minutes. No. And when your manager before has rushed people back in to start games after they've had knocks and injuries, you've moaned that he's rushed them back into.
Hang on. Now, he hasn't had an injury, mate.
Well, we don't know, but you don't know. This is the point. No, you don't know. This is the point I'm making. You don't know why he's dropped him, but you are making an assumption that the only reason is to shoehorn in Kai Havertz. It could be a multitude of reasons, but you only look for the negative ones, Lee. No. Terry,
just slow down 1 second, yeah? Right, and there's somebody in this chat earlier said it's 2 games, 2 wins, be happy. Yeah, you're probably the same idiot last season that said we're just top, be happy, mate. Yeah, or we're just 4th, be happy, and finish 5th. Yeah, and this is the problem I have with these people, yeah? Right? Terry, you're trying to spin it as I'm taking a negative. Terry, we have not played well for 2 games. We have put out an 11 that is nowhere near going to win a title. And yes, it is only 2 games, right? But let's just do some stripping back here a minute, yeah? We can all sit here right now and name our best 11, Arsenal's best 11. If everyone's fit, we can pretty much get 9 or 10 out of 11 spot on all 3 of us, right? So if we can all see that, why can't he? Because our best 11 doesn't incorporate Kai Havertz.
Lee, can I ask you a question? What if Gabriel has been shocking in training?
And he shouldn't be in the squad then, should he?
Okay, so he's on the bench though.
Injured, and he hasn't been shocking in training, so he's in the squad.
Is this ever happened in football before, where players have been bad in training, therefore they're not starting in games?
Yeah, of course it has, Terry. But
again, you've just given another reason. No, I'm not reaching. I'm giving you an example. You said the only reason he's being dropped is to accommodate Kai Havertz, but you just admitted it could be something else. It could be something else.
No,
why can't it be something else? Why can't it be something else?
It can be something else, Terry. But ultimately,
and if he wants to die on this Kai Havertz hill,
he can die on the Kai Havertz hill around Christmas time.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Look, I'm not even saying.
I'm not going to keep shouting over you. At the end of the day, them 2 performances that we've had so far have not been great. They have not been great. Yes, we can get better. But the reason we will not win anything and the reason we will not get ultimately so great that we can challenge again is because this manager is out of his depth. He's trying to shoehorn players into that team, yeah, because he wants to die on that hill because Kai Havertz is Arsenal's 3rd highest ever signing. Declan Rice, Nicola Pepe, and then him. He's undroppable. He's undroppable because
nonsense.
Really? Well, we've played 3 games this season. Community Shield, he played the whole game. The last game, I think he played pretty much the whole game. Maybe he didn't. I don't know, but I'm sure he stayed on for the whole game. And last night, 97 minutes.
And you won all 3. And you won all 3.